Okay, so the introduction was a bit over the top. But before we start, I'd like to introduce Lucy, our rolling cruise cabin, which we bought just before we took this trip. Here she is with her slides in on the passenger side. In the midst of the global pandemic, Lucy was about the only way we could do this trip safely. Marilyn named Lucy after Lucille Ball because she loved the 1950s movie, The Long, Long Trailer. Starring Lucille Ball and her husband, Desi Arnaz. On the way to our first main stop, that is Houghton, Upper Peninsula, Michigan, we stopped at the Franklin Park Conservatory. It contains beautiful botanical gardens. Located in Columbus, Ohio, Franklin Park Conservatory is the home of many glass sculptures by the famous sculptor Dale Chihuly. It was about 800 miles short of our destination in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Here's a boxwood plant that was rumored to be 370 years old. After 1,208 miles, we arrived at Houghton, Michigan. Hello, Sue. It's good to see you. And I was able to fly my drone and took these wonderful aerial photographs of the City of Houghton RV Park. The park's manager asked me to fly my drone so that I could take pictures to be used by the town on its website. The park is located along the beautiful Portage Canal. Here, Mark and Sue Strang and David and Marilyn Rand are ready to start a bicycle ride along the Portage Canal. The lift bridge between Hancock and Houghton isn't pretty, but it does the job. We pedaled right by D Stadium, birthplace of professional hockey. Mark and Sue, when they were young, did a lot of skating in this place. The scenery around the Portage Canal is simply beautiful. Flowers and berries abound, and we had a great time. Later, we visited Mark's shop in Alberta. You don't have to guess about the attitude of the Yoopers when it comes to personal independence. What a facility. And Mark has almost complete use, where he can practice his woodworking skills to his heart's content. Nothing like a good piece of bird's eye maple. The Upper Peninsula is quintessentially American. How about an average of 20 feet of snow per year? How about a record snowfall of 32.5 feet? Why did it take Mark and Sue so long to move to Williamsburg? Here's a view of the beautiful lighthouse at Eagle Harbor, Upper Peninsula. Here's a great shot of a 1,000-foot-long ore steamer sailing along Lake Superior. At 600 millimeters, we clearly can see it's the James R. Barker. Here's a great view of Carper Harbor and a cruise ship that goes over to Isle Royale National Park. We had a great meal at the Kewanee Mountain Lodge, which has been serving its guests for almost 100 years. First stop, La Crosse, Wisconsin, where we camped right on the Mississippi River. Then on to a family reunion in Protivin, Iowa, with all the Boschke first cousins. Here, Casey Boschke takes a picture of the family gathering. Way to go, Casey. Then headed west to Badlands National Park, South Dakota. No tour of the American West is complete without a visit to the Badlands National Park. Here in the Badlands, you gotta watch out for our little friends. We didn't see any, at least none that were alive. But they're there. Here's a version of one. From the Badlands, we headed on to the Black Hills, where we came in contact with the first Sturgis group of motorcycle riders, at none other than Wall Drug, which has been in existence since 1931. Wall Drug is noted for its free ice water and tacky souvenirs. After leaving Wall Drug, we were on to Mount Rushmore, right through Keystone, South Dakota, where we ran into a whole boatload of Sturgis motorcycle riders. For those of you who are unaware, Sturgis, South Dakota runs a motorcycle rally every year. Because of the pandemic, it was only 750,000 riders this year. Because we had our RV and buses weren't allowed, we could pull right up to the main entrance of Mount Rushmore and get a great view. And what a beautiful day it was. It's my guess that Tommy, George, Teddy, and Abe are going to last a lot longer than this current woke culture anticipates. Here's a selfie of us in our masks in front of Mount Rushmore. Marilyn and I then rented an old beat-up Ford Fusion and were off to tour Custer State Park. The park is known for its large herd of buffalo. Now, these buffalo are wild animals and they're very dangerous. As a matter of fact, as we went along, a herd crossed in front of us, and surprisingly, a small baby buffalo took a liking to the front end of our Ford Fusion. It took him about 20 minutes before he left, and this whole group of bikers had to wait as we were the first in line. Wait a minute, I think I'll charge these people on these strange machines. On the other hand, I think I'll let them live. I'm a good buffalo. Goodbye, buffalo herd. Goodbye, big bull buffalo. It was a pleasure seeing you, no doubt. Following our little visit with the buffalo herd, we made our way onto the Needles Highway. There you travel through the rock formations known as the Needles. These amazing geologic formations touch the sky, and you travel to a number of tunnels which were too small for Lucy. Thank goodness we had our Ford Fusion. Luckily, we were driving the Ford Fusion, which allowed us to go into the tunnels that were far too narrow for Lucy. We then made our way west to Devil's Tower, Wyoming. It seemed that every one of the 750,000 bikers had Devil's Tower on their to-do list. Nevertheless, we had a great view of the structure and really enjoyed our short visit. After traveling through the Wind River Reservation, we made our way through Ten Sleep Canyon on our way to the greatest national park in the United States. The following are some of my favorite views of Yellowstone. The Norris Geyser Basin is rumored to be the largest in the world, and we walked all around. After leaving Yellowstone, we headed south through the beautiful Grand Tetons National Park. Notice the beautiful Snake River as it winds its way in the foothills of the Grand Tetons. And then here's Maryland in front of John Coulter Marina, also in the foothills of the Grand Tetons. What a sight. One last view of this wonderful landscape. As we headed south, we drove right through the center of Jackson, Wyoming, and got a good view of the fascinating arch. Our next adventure took us south through Zion Canyon National Park, and the vistas were extraordinary. It's hard for these photographs to really depict these formations. The cliffs are many thousands of feet high. Still in Utah, we headed into Bryce Canyon. But first, we had to pass Checkerboard Mesa, which is truly an interesting structure. Here are views of the famous hoodoos, which dot the side of Bryce Canyon for almost 10 miles. Unbelievable. made our way through the beautiful Oak Creek Canyon just north of Sedona. Then we marveled at the beautifully red rock area that surrounds this little village, known for its beautiful views. During our stay in Sedona, we camped at Rancho Sedona RV Park, rented a car, had the view of a birdhouse, camped along the Oak Creek, where Marilyn had a little enjoyment getting her feet wet. We loved it. No visit to Sedona can be complete without a visit to the Chapel of the Holy Cross. Here Marilyn is walking along the winding stairway up to the chapel. Even the chapel's mailbox is worth a photograph. Here's a little cabin in the foothills just under the chapel. One of our favorite areas in Sedona is Red Rock State Park. Here's a view. I shot some video right over the home of Joe and Rose Stracco, located on Ascendus Mountain in Mesa, Arizona. What a place to visit. We had a nice view of the Stracco house, and we even said hello to Joe, Ro, Dave, and Marilyn from my aerial perch. There's nothing like a dip in the Stracco pool in an Arizona August. This fruit layout is the tip of a culinary iceberg. These Texas cows needed to be fed really bad. We made our way into the great state of Arkansas, where we ultimately camped on the shores of the Mississippi in West Memphis, Arkansas. No way Marilyn would disappoint these ducks. While camped on the Little Pigeon, we enjoyed a beautiful sunset. And then it was on to Virginia, Williamsburg, and home. Thanks for viewing this video.